Hey guys, this is Rise, and I'm back with Klazart giving you Game 3 of CJ versus Estro. And if you haven't been paying attention, go watch the other two games. And if you have been paying attention, well, you might know that Iris won the first game, sealing the deal with battle cruisers, and then he went off the face against Sea.Really, who just spanked him. Whether it be luck or superior play, that's up for you to decide. I'm actually I'm a believer that it was more luck than anything else. But either way, we do have a new player here. So it looks like we're going to be watching Really face off against Movie, which is another new name. You may have heard something about him, but really there's not too much that I've heard about him because he's not a big player quite yet. Another new player coming out for CJ, so it looks like we're not going to get any big names dropped on us quite yet. But seriously, this should still be a good game. It is going to be a PvT played on Destination, and this is a great map overall. I enjoy playing on it. I enjoy watching games on it, and it usually sets us up for a good game of StarCraft. So the question is, are we going to see some standard play or some crazy cheese? I don't know. What do you think, Klazart?
Yeah, Destination coming out for CJ. I'm not sure how great Protoss players are going to be able to cope on a map like Destination, where there's all these bridges in the middle, which are just perfect for Terran defense. But there is a potential for a lot of drop play, and because the shuttle is in the natural arc for Protoss players, I think that does help Protoss players as well on maps that are suited to that sort of play. It looks like he's sending out a very, very early probe to scout, if not to. He hasn't even put a pylon down, so I'm wondering if he's going to try and do some sort of a proxy build here. We do have Destination starting off at the bottom side of the map, at the lower half of the map at the 6 o'clock position, and Sea.Really at the 12 o'clock position in red with Terran. But very, very early probe sent out by Movie, and he's actually now started up his pylon using a probe in his base. So I have a feeling we might be seeing some sort of attempt at a proxy here.
I certainly hope so, because if there's one thing that I like, it is cheese. Whether it be mozzarella or StarCraft, it is good. I am a cheese connoisseur of sorts when it comes to StarCraft. Definitely specializing in it a bit myself, considering that's usually the only way I can win. So I always enjoy seeing it. It looks like he tried to steal the gas, but he wasn't actually successful in doing so. It doesn't look like we're going to see any cheese coming out of that probe that is up there. I didn't see any buildings being built, and he's actually building a gateway next to his Nexus back in his main base. So maybe he was just going for the gas steal, which is definitely a popular thing to do on a two-player map, because you know where the other player is and you can get there before that gas ever gets down for your opponent. But instead, he wasn't successful in doing so. The refinery actually going down before the barracks, so it looks like Really was a little bit leery of that happening. Probably not too confident in his his bio build versus a Protoss opponent, and instead is now getting that barracks down and starting to put SCV slowly onto his gas to try to rematch the timing. In the meantime, we're seeing a Cybernetics core going down for Movie, so I'm guessing off of that we may see a quick tech build such as Reavers or something like that, which is a good possibility on a map like this.
Yeah, good play by Really. He anticipated the possibility of having that extractor taken on, obviously having watched previous games on this map, and had that extractor in place before the Protoss probe could come in and drop an assimilator on top, and that's thrown a spanner in Movie's plans a little bit, and I'm not sure. And we're going to see what Movie's made of and how he can compensate, because he did sacrifice quite a lot by sending one of his early probes out early on. There is a cumulative effect. If you send your probes out to do something like this and it doesn't really achieve anything, the mining time you lose from one of your early probes can be quite costly, and that's got to set Movie behind, at least in a small way, in terms of his economy. Finally really has a Marine out to usher that probe away that has been harassing in his base this entire time, and I guess he has achieved something, because he's managed to keep at least one extra SCV off of the mineral line of Really's to try and combat with that probe. But he hasn't gotten anything out of his gateway yet, so Really's going to be able to get that SCV in and get the scout, and he's also sending a couple of Marines down to push in and do a little bit of harass. Dragoon now coming out for Movie, and he's just going to try and clear that SCV out. Meanwhile, Really trying to use his two Marines to ward off that probe from getting back and getting another scout in. It's going to be interesting to see how Movie decides to play this now, because I do feel the pressure is on him to prevent the Terran war machine from going into macro defense mode, and it's going to be down to him being able to do some effective harass. He has gotten rid of that SCV, and the fact that he didn't put down any tech buildings is curious, and he also seems to have his cybernetics core spinning, so I'm wondering why he would be looking to upgrade Dragoon range if that is what he's opting to do, unless he's trying to go fast carries and is upgrading air. With only the one gateway, it doesn't make sense for him to be upgrading Dragoon range, so maybe we might potentially be seeing fast carriers or something like that on this map.
It's a possibility, I'm sure, but I was actually thinking that he was using the range upgrade to try to throw off the play of Really and make him think that he was going for a range Dragoon build. But I also thought that with the single gateway that he had down, that he was actually going to go into a Reaver build by canceling that Cybernetics core. But it looks like instead he's trying to put some early pressure on with those goons and try to get range. And if he can snipe that tank, he would be successful in doing so. But no, he is forced back. The tank gets up, and the amount of Marines that were on the ramp were enough to deter the goon long enough before that could happen. And there is the robotics facility, so he has gone for that quick robo facility, and he's also going for quick observers, and now looks like he's going to be putting down an expansion as well. So we'll have to see if he decides to transition into Reavers. That is likely at this point, but that, of course, that robotics facility will also be used to create some shuttles that will house some speed zealots or who knows what for tank drops later on in the game. But at this point, he's just making some observers to deal with what might be coming out of the base of Really, which maybe he's expecting some sort of vultures and quick mines or something like that, but it doesn't look like that's what Really's going for. So right now, he just needs that information. He needs to know what he's going up against so he can be prepared.
Yeah, Movie is not in a very good situation right now, because Really has actually got his command center up as well and has taken his expansion and has solidified his defense. So this harass is going to be absolutely key. And I mean, when is it not? But Sea.Really is also now pushing out with a couple of tanks and Marines and Vultures, and the Protoss player is going to have a tough time defending this. And there's a couple of moves now that I feel the Protoss player has made that have not come off for him. To begin with, he sent off his probe to try and steal the gas, wasn't successful in that. Then he upgraded Dragoon range very, very early on, and I don't think he's really harvested anything from that. I mean, he could have probably started the Dragoon range upgrade a lot later for defense purposes, but for the offensive purposes, he really wasn't able to make any use of it and do any damage to the Terran player. So far, the Terran player has cancelled out pretty much any move he's made, and now it looks like Sea.Really, with his superior ground force, is setting up in position to actually box Movie into his base and actually establish a defensive position on those bridges. Now Movie's nexus going up as well. Sea.Really, and he's also got one of his observers into Sea.Really's base, so he knows exactly what Sea.Really's build is. But how is he going to push past those bridges? He needs to get past those bridges and do something before Sea.Really gets siege mode. It looks like he's trying to do that exactly right now, but he's not able to use his Dragoons to maximum advantage. He's not able to get that arc that you need to get with Dragoons. He loses one Dragoon and is pushed back and is in huge trouble, and this is the reason why Klazart does not like this map, because this is not something that a Terran player should be able to do to a Protoss player outside of his natural. He shouldn't be able to box them in on a narrow walkway like that. Sea.Really not able to do anything. The Terran player should really need to have siege before he can do that to so many Dragoons, but with just 2 siege tanks and a handful of vultures, he's able to lock Movie into his natural expo, and I think that's hugely unfair.
Yeah, Movie's pretty much effed in the A right now. He's having a lot of difficulty just getting across his own bridges out of his expansion, and maybe he's not effed in the A. Maybe he just managed to get his way out. At the same time, he is using what he can do on this map to break out, and that is mining the minerals out from the back door of his main. But that may have just been discovered by Really, because Really has some vultures, I think, at the left side of the map, and if he just saw a probe coming from that direction, he's going to be completely prepared to deal with anything that might be coming out there. He might actually try to sneak in that way himself. But at the meantime, it looks like we are going to see a shuttle full of, I don't know if that was a Reaver or what he put in there. I actually missed it at the time. But we are going to see some sort of harassment coming from Movie. It was a Reaver. Perfect. So obviously, Movie trying to do what he can to get back into this match. He is going to have to do some significant economic damage to really make his way back into this game, because right now I definitely think that he is behind. And there are the vultures. So yeah, they were able to see that some units were coming out, and look at this. He's going to actually get some shots on the probes mining at the natural expansion, at the same time planting some spider mines to delay everything a little bit, and doing a good job of just harassing Movie from all areas right now.
Yeah, and it does look like a vast gulf in class between these two players, between Sea.Really and Movie, because every single move Movie has made has been countered. Movie has waited for 2 shuttles to try and affect any sort
Wow.
of attack, and that just shows you how imbalanced this map is against Protoss players, that a Protoss player can't make an effective attack against the Terran without actually building up 2 shuttles. Movie didn't try to do any harass with his first shuttle though, and that might actually end up costing him. So now he's going to go in, but his opponent he's got shuttle speed upgraded as well, but Sea.Really has got turrets and siege tanks waiting for this attack, and this is probably going to end up really costly for for Movie. He's managed to drop Zealots as well as Dragoon as well as a Reaver, and he's actually managed to kill some of Sea.Really's forces, but Sea.Really is just going to move all his SCVs out and get that siege going, and meanwhile Movie has lost his first shuttle, he's lost all of his ground units, his Reaver gets taken out, and that was a very toothless attack. Again, I'm not sure Movie is as bad a player as he's seeming, and I think the map has a lot to do with just how badly he's being spanked right now.
Yeah, actually, I don't think Movie is that bad. I think he's actually got like a 60% win rate overall. So certainly, for a new Pro League player, that's very good. Although he may not have been playing against the best players, but I mean, really, he just had some bad luck there. If you saw his Reaver got placed. He was trying to place his Reaver in the middle of 3 tanks, but instead it went to the outside of the machine shop where all 3 tanks could siege and hit it, and they did, and it was taken out like instantaneously. And his shuttle was then out of position, so he couldn't even pick it up because it was placed in the wrong spot. So Movie just having a lot of bad luck, a lot of things going against him. It may be in part because of the map, but in fairness, he should know the map's pros and cons, and you know, changes his strategy according to that. But really, he's just having a tough time with his early, I guess, bad luck and mistakes, or whatever you want to call them, and really somewhat good reaction early on. He's having a tough time doing any of that, and having a lot of trouble getting back in this game. And now we're seeing Vultures trying to go around the back once again, and they're going to plant some mines to take out that one goon that's on that ramp, and they are going to take it out as well as taking out one of the Vultures, and now only replaced by Zealots. And those Vultures are going to do a pretty good job of taking out those Zealots. But oh, nice mind drag by Movie, bringing them into the Vultures, managing to take it out 2 more, and he's going to be able to fend that out without much of a problem. But now it looks like Really is trying to head into the natural base, or the natural expansion of Movie, and this is going to be very difficult. And, oh, Spider Mind drags going right into the goons, and here we're going to see that contain and how devastating it is on this map.
Yeah, and now Sea.Really is as you said, not in a good position in the A. he is gonna be in huge trouble. I agree with you to an extent that Movie did make quite a few mistakes, and Sea.Really has done a good job. But I have to admit, I am not a huge fan of this map. It is hugely imbalanced, and anytime you see a Terran player being forced to use 3 or 2 shuttles to try and inflict damage on a Terran opponent, that's not good, and for me it just shows what a horribly imbalanced map that is, and the Protoss player is forced to do that because he cannot just traverse across the bridges and make any sort of meaningful attack because of those narrow path walkways are so easy for the Terran player to defend. That being said, I do question Movie's choice of waiting for the second shuttle. If he'd gone with the first shuttle and the Reaver, Sea.Really wouldn't have had those turrets up, and he might have actually been able to do some damage to Sea.Really's economy. As it stood, he wasn't really able to do that, and now he's going to just make the suicide attack, which is probably going to fail, and it's probably going to be GG right here. He's trying to break through the bridges, and it's just a kill zone. His units are just walking into... It's like an army unit going down into a valley that they know is surrounded on both sides by enemy snipers, and they all get taken out without dealing any real damage to the opponent, and it's a battle fought in a lost cause, and this is going to be GG right here.
Headshot, he's taken out with no problem from Really crossing the bridge, now in the natural, and as you said, game is over at this point, and GG finally coming from Movie. So it looks like Really has just gone 2-0 at this point, winning a couple of games for his team, and he is going to move on to the 4th match. So unless you got any final comments, I say we just get to the next match and see if we get another big name coming out of this.
Yep, let's go.
CJ의 뜻을 상대로 지금 현재 1팀을 상대로 지금 좋은 모습 박상호 선수가 보여주고 있다는 게 아주 높은 가치가 있네요.
네, 그렇습니다. 테란다인을 버티고 있던 박상호 선수, 신인수 선수는 추격하지도 않았는데 이승을 좋겠어요.
게다가 박상호 선수가 이런 식의 이제 플레이를 보여주게 되면 뒤에서 대기하고 있는 선수들이 힘을 받죠.